Everyone who has heard it, whether they discard this, whether they believe it, whether they mock it, whether they receive it, you are a witness. You are a witness. You have heard it. And therefore, your very facts of having heard it means that we are proof that God lives today. We are proof. Our ears and what we hear is proof that God still lives today. And so this is what he is saying. He's saying that this is going to be another thing like an arrow into her Achilles heel, proving she's weak. But then he's saying that he's going to peel this woman in front of the very people who love her. It is a shame for God to undress you in front of your fans, because it is the very fans. I spoke in the beginning of this video and I said, it is the fans, it is the people who love their idols, who dress the idols, but then they want to undress God. You want to take away from God what he is clothed with as God, as creator, as father, as Elohim, as Alpha and Omega, the only true and living God. You want to tear away all those accolades, all that covering. You seek to strip what can never be stripped. And then you want to dress your idols in it. People are walking around you, open your human mouth, this fleshly tongue, and then you say things like, oh, that was a God tier performance, and you use big G. Will you even live long enough to get old on this earth, trying that kind of stuff in this end times? Will you live long enough to see a gray hair, trying that kind of activity in these end times where God's ear is so sharp, listening to everything? God tier performance, the greatest of all time, something you've never called Jesus in your life. He was just that guy who had a difficult weekend on the cross for your sake. But then these trans gymnasts everywhere, these gay basketball players everywhere, gay movie stars everywhere, people who can't even get sexuality right, that's who you're calling God tier performance. Greatest of all time. He says he's going to peel Beyonce's nose in front of everyone. It will get to the point. You know what God is saying? God is saying that he's going to expose all this woman's weakness. The next time God comes for this woman, it's not going to be through this hair care line. It's going to be something directly touching her. Because it was one of the prophecies that God gave me. The dream kept coming 3, 4, 5 times. And each time I was seeing a newspaper that was breaking a story concerning Beyonce. It was directly concerning Beyonce. Different newspaper each time breaking the story. Some of the newspapers giving it like a soft landing. They would say like super mega icon, 15-time winning Grammy winner. Then they would say has been involved in. They would put all her accolades in the front to soften the blow. Other people were going in with nails. They were asking the real questions. They were writing hard-hitting, painful stories about her. And the woman's anger could barely be contained. And I said that at the time, the way that the papers were bringing it out, they were mostly focusing on her, and her husband was just a small byline. And people who love her were so angry. They were trying to shift all the blame to Jay-Z. They were saying it's him. He's mind controlling her. He keeps her on pills. We saw the video. Remember? She's not herself. Meanwhile, back at the farm, God has said since 2022 in the Hollywood exposure prophecies that Beyonce loves witchcraft, that she loves the power it gives over the gullible-minded fools who follow her. Because only a fool would hear the God of earth revealing that someone is a sorceress. And then that's what they tell me on my videos. We love the sorcery. You're just mad because you can't afford a ticket. Well, you know me. Often I have to decide if I'm buying food or toilet paper week to week. So how can I spend money on Klarna and Afterpay and rent money to go watch somebody shaking their gold lame tush? I'm beside myself. Oh no. God touched her. Some kind of scandal came out. God touched her, and the newspapers were running the story, and people wanted the blame to fall on Jay-Z, and it was not falling on Jay-Z. People wanted Jay-Z to be more prominent, and they were blaming him, and God was not allowing the blame to fall on Jay-Z. It was falling squarely, press scrutiny, TMZ scrutiny. It was falling squarely on her. And she could barely take it, and she was not saying a word. So you can see, I told you in another prophecy that God showed me that these celebrities, the top ones, one of the main things that they have learned to master is silence. They have learned to curb their tongue. They have learned that, you know what? No matter how great the heat, if you don't make a statement, it will all die down, and you would not have said anything on record. So you hear God saying that even when the hair care line is exposed, that it will be mostly someone else that you see in the press. She's not going to live stream an apology or jump on Instagram and make a post to tell you guys she's sorry for making you bald like a Siamese cat. No. I will peel her layers until the people who love her will become her critics. It's terrible to see the name of a subscriber who was always, get it, queen. Yes, go, queen. And then this person is like, does she look fat? It's terrible when God turns the hearts of the people who love you against you, which is why a wise person will not depend on street love for their self-identity. You will let Jesus love you. And then when people talk about you, you will be on your third dream of the night to come back and prophesy. Self-identity, self-love, it begins with God. It does not begin with loving the T-bicycle trannies on the internet that has every